Hey, welcome into the undisclosed walk-in closet somewhere in the East Valley. I'm your host, Greg Esposito, the Espo in the Espo Show, and I'm glad to have you with me for this impromptu edition of All By Myself. No guests, just me. I got something I want to talk to you about. This week's been a tough one. I'm just going to be honest with you. It has not been an easy one from a sports fandom perspective, and personally, for myself, when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. There's this old adage that when somebody reveals their true self to you, you should believe them, right? And that comes into play with the Phoenix Suns, and in particular one man in general, Robert Sarver. Well over 15 years ago when he took over this team, he revealed his true self to us all. In the Joe Johnson negotiations, in the way he handled being an owner for the first time, in the way that he handled trying to skirt paying luxury tax when he had a chance to win a championship with one of the greatest cores in Suns history. He made it very clear that he was going to be the kind of owner that meddled and nickeled and dimed his way into problems. But we tried to make excuses. Well, he's new. He's trying to learn the ropes. Oh, he'll change. That's just this new group of owners. Their new money. They're trying to figure it out. Oh, it'll change, right? And about every year or so, we'll hear this storyline emerge that Robert Sarver's changed, right? Like clockwork, we hear it, and it's either out of a lot of the media members wanting to be optimistic that hey, maybe it has changed because we want to see a functional, good NBA franchise here again, like it was in the glory days, right? That, or it's the PR spin machine from within the building at 201 Jefferson. And I know all about that. I had been part of that PR spin machine. And it works overdrive when it comes to Robert and trying to get people to believe that he's changed, that things are different, right? And for some reason, no matter what happens and how many times he shows that it's not about the people, it's not about winning, it's about the money. And yet we always try to make excuses and find a way not to believe it. Well, time's up. No longer do we sit here and try to make excuses, because this week made it pretty clear that things are not ever going to change. All right. On Monday, roughly 30 people within the organization were let go. And you go, okay, well, what was the reason, though? Why were they let go? Well, they were informed via Zoom that they were restructuring the business and that it had nothing to do with COVID, that it was all about trying to find new efficiencies and run the Phoenix Suns smarter because there were redundancies and other reasons that people's jobs just didn't need to be there. In the middle of a global pandemic, a major recession, and civil unrest, the Phoenix Suns decided all of a sudden it was time to restructure their business, that there was a smarter way to do business? No, it came down to dollars and cents, right? Move fast forward to Wednesday. It's announced that the Northern Arizona Suns, the G League affiliate of the team, was being sold. And we had already known that they were going to leave Northern Prescott Valley and leave the Northern Arizona name and play in the Valley this next year. And we all thought, oh, okay. And you hear the news and you think, well, maybe it was sold to a local entity. Maybe the Suns want their G League team close, but thought, hey, we'll let somebody else get in the ownership game as well to kind of share in this. Until you find out they sold the team to the Detroit Pistons. They're getting out of the G League game when most of the teams in the NBA are getting into it. Teams are buying their own G League franchises to use as their minor league system, much like the way the Suns did a few years ago, but now they've decided to get out of the business. And they told you, they came out and they said, well, this is just a smarter way to do basketball. This has nothing to do with dollars and cents. This has everything to do with a smarter way to do basketball. We have the youngest roster in the NBA. We want to focus on spots 11 through 15 and not the G League. Weren't you doing that already? Isn't that part of your job to develop the back half of your roster and utilize the G League in part to do that? And isn't it why you have the 16th and 17th roster spots that are two-way contracts so you can get additional young talent in there and utilize the G League appropriately? Don't buy into the fact that they trot out a PR person or the general manager to tell you that this had something to do with business. This had something to do with one thing and one thing only, and that is dollars and cents. This was all about money. Both of these moves were about Robert Sarver and money. Life is not lived in an Excel spreadsheet column. Neither is a championship culture or organization built in an Excel spreadsheet column. It's built with people, quality people that dedicate themselves to your common mission. It's built with quality leadership. And it's built with an eye towards the business, but also an eye towards what's best and how to best serve those who serve you within your organization. And you can bring in 1 million people in your senior leadership team, and you can change people on the regular, but it all comes down to one thing, and it's the person at the top. And it all emulates and disseminates down from that guy at the top. The Suns nickeled and dimed things this week under the guise of business. And they did it in a building that is currently undergoing a $150 million renovation. Oh, and not money that Robert Sarver spent or the team spent. No, that's $150 million in taxpayer money. And I guarantee you more than a few of those 30 people that were let go had their tax money go into that building as well. So the Suns sit there and tell you they're trying to find a smarter way to do business. They're trying to find a smarter way to do basketball. All while taking government money to rebuild their cash register that is Talking Stick Resort Arena. And they let 30 people go, and they sold a G League franchise in the midst of it. And they want you to believe it's not about money. When somebody reveals their true nature, believe them. And we should have done that a long time ago. And until the person at the top changes, nothing else is going to change within the organization. I'm Greg Esposito. That's another edition of All by Myself here on the Espo Show. We'll talk to you next time.